So joining us now, Mark Thiessen, former chief speechwriter to President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor, and Julie Roginsky, Democratic strategist and a Fox News contributor. Welcome to both of you. Good to have you with us tonight.
Good to see you.
I want to begin by playing that moment with Sean Spicer in the briefing room today. Let's take a look.
Former House Speaker John Boehner predicted that a full repeal and replace of Obamacare, quote, his words, is not going to happen.
We're going to end up with a more accessible plan that will allow people to see more doctors, have more providers, and drive costs down.
So we're about to hear from Mike Pence, and we know the White House needs to be on the same page with leadership in the GOP. Mark, is that the signal that we're getting? How do you read it?
Well, the Republicans have a problem, which is they only need 51 votes, a simple majority, to repeal Obamacare. But most of the things they want to do to replace Obamacare can't be done with 51 votes. They need 60 votes to do that, which means they need Democrats to come together and work with them in a bipartisan way for a replacement plan. And right now, the Democrats aren't interested in bipartisan cooperation. They're interested in resistance. So the Democrats are refusing to approve a lot of Trump's cabinet nominees. They're certainly not going to help work with him on a bipartisan health care reform. And so what that means is Republicans are in a bind, because if they repeal without replacing, then the entire system can collapse and millions of people can lose their health insurance, and they will own the process. And if you go back and remember when Barack Obama lied to the American people and said you can keep your doctor and you keep your health care plan, Republicans don't want to be responsible for taking away people's doctors and their health care plan. So the Democrats are kind of in this position where they're, rather than helping Republicans find a replacement, because there was a mandate in the election to do that, they are just sitting back and hoping that the Republicans will repeal so they can throw the whole thing around their neck and make them own it.
Julie, sounds pretty good for Democrats.
Well, there was a mandate, Mark would agree, originally for Barack Obama to pass Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. The Republicans were not interested in working with him on that either. Look, here's...
He didn't try.
It wasn't a mandate. It passed with absolutely no bipartisan support.
That's right.
That's not a mandate.
Exactly right. There was a mandate to get Barack Obama elected, so you'd think Republicans would have worked on a health care plan. They did not. So to Mark's point, that somehow there's a mandate to work with the Republicans on this. You could say the same thing about what happened with Obama's election. I will say I think it's a little mendacious of the former speaker, John Boehner, to say that, you know, this is all a big joke, and the fact that they voted 60 times to repeal Obamacare, they didn't really mean it, because there really is no way to replace it. So all this nonsense about repealing Obamacare, voting time and time again, knowing that Barack Obama was never going to sign that legislation, was really scamming the base in order to get votes. And now the base should demand that the Republicans who voted to repeal Obamacare provide them with the replacement that they agree to, which is they can keep their doctor, stay till you're 26, and your health care plan, you know, pre-existing conditions, all of it, and it's going to be cheaper.
I can't imagine any plan that's not going to include those two things politically, to be politically positive. You know, but when I listened to Sean Spicer there, Mark, I didn't even hear repeal. I heard, you know, we're going to fix it. Right? We're gonna get in there and we're gonna fix it, and then we can maybe say later, and I'm adding this part myself, you know, oh yeah, we repealed and replaced. Is that a scenario that you can see happening?
I don't think so. I mean, if Donald Trump doesn't repeal and replace Obamacare, that was what he campaign promised on, and if he doesn't do it, then he's going to pay for it at the polls. So they have to do it. But the problem that Republicans are in right now is also that their caucus is split, because the largest number of people who got health insurance under Obamacare, they got it through the Medicaid expansion. And while a lot of Republican governors refused the Medicaid expansion, like Scott Walker, 13 red states where they accepted the Medicaid expansion, not Medicare, Medicaid. And so if those people are not going to vote for repealing of Obamacare and throwing those people off of their insurance. So what ought to happen in an ideal world is we would repeal Obamacare, and then Republicans and Democrats would come together on a plan that includes the best ideas from both parties. That would include things like keeping
You're making John Boehner laugh right now at home, I think, Mark.
Yeah, probably. But, I mean, yeah, you know, maybe cats and dogs will get together one day.
Maybe. Just Julie, you know, a lot of small businesses are hell-bent on having this, you know, off their backs. And they say that, it has been so oppressive to their ability to run their companies. There are also constituents that need to be heard.
Sure. Listen, what's the old Pottery Barn rule? You break it, you own it. The Republicans control both houses of the legislature. They control the White House. They have promised their constituents, those small businesses and others, that they will repeal Obamacare and replace it with a cheaper plan that keeps coverage for all the people that have it today, that you'll be allowed to keep your doctor, that you'll stay on your parents' insurance till you're 26, and that you won't be discriminated against for pre-existing conditions. But they're going to be doing all of this by getting rid of the individual mandate, which we know mathematically you cannot do. So bottom line, God bless. Go to town. I cannot wait to see what this looks like.
Bottom line
Thank you,
is
Mark.
the Democrats are refusing to work with them on that.
The Republicans
Thanks, you guys.